Hello, this is Dr. Faith Warner, and welcome to Principles of Cultural Anthropology Online. I'm really glad you're taking this course, and I'll do everything possible to make sure it's a really positive experience for you. Today, I would like to go through an introduction to the class, go through the syllabus, the requirements, and cover that with you, and then I'll post your first lecture on Chapter 1. So, like I said, my name is Dr. Faith Warner. This is Anthropology 299. It's online, Principles of Cultural Anthropology. And earlier I sent you slides, so please check your MyHusky email or whatever email you use when you register at Bloomsburg University. I sent you these slides of the first lectures, so you can start looking over what I'm going to cover and compare my lectures to the textbook. I make every effort to cover the textbook as fully as possible and to integrate my lectures with the textbook. One of my pet peeves when I was a student was when a professor's lectures didn't really match the textbook. So I do make every effort to ensure that you will recognize the textbook when you see my lectures and when you hear what I have to say in lecture. So I sent you these slides earlier. Please do check your MyHusky email. And everyone, I'd like to point out that I do have a landline in my office, and there's my phone number. I have to say that I forget it's there sometimes. Rarely rings anymore. So if you would like to reach me, the best way is by email. I do check my email often, but you can also call that number. And you can also call the main anthropology department if you have an urgent need to leave me a message. Everyone, I did establish an exclusive Zoom office hour for this class. I know that it's asynchronic, meaning there isn't a time when you actually have to be online, either for class or for an office hour. But what I will do is every Monday at 10, I will send all of you an invitation through your Bloomsburg email to join the Zoom office hour if you'd like to. It's voluntary, it's certainly not required. I also can be available to you with private meetings, and you can come to my on-campus office hours as well. So contact information again, everyone. This is a photo here of when I was doing field work for my PhD, what's called your dissertation field work. And I'll talk to you a lot about my work as we go through the semester, and I'll use my own fieldwork research experience to illustrate major concepts and ideas as the course goes along. Just to get you started, I lived in a refugee camp in southern Mexico that included indigenous peoples from Guatemala, that's native indigenous peoples, who were forced to flee the violence in Guatemala and took refuge with the help of the Mexican government and the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees in the state of Campeche. And I actually spent 20 months living with the Quechua peoples and conducting my research while doing something called participant observation, fully participating in the culture as much as they would allow me and as much as my ethics would allow me, professional and personal ethics, while also making scientific observations. And I feel very fortunate that I had that opportunity, and one of the things that I enjoy most is sharing that with all my classes, but in particular my introductory classes, in that I think it benefits you a lot when you hear a professor relating actual research and personal experience to the concepts and ideas that are being taught. So I'll make reference often to my experience in Mayatecún in the state of Campeche in Mexico, where I conducted ethnographic research studying cultural and gender differences in the expression of traumatic stress in a refugee community. And I'll talk to you in a lot more depth about it throughout the semester. Everyone, I do have campus office hours, Thursday morning, 8 to 9, Tuesday and Thursday, 2 to 3, and Thursday from 11 to 12, and by appointment and Zoom. So if you would like to meet with me by appointment and none of these office hours work for you, we can always arrange a time when you can meet me either in my office or we can arrange a Zoom meeting. The course is not on Volt. I find it redundant to use Volt. I really don't want to check multiple sites every time I start to teach each day. So already I have to check the email, we have to check the online textbook. So what I would like to do is just keep our communications through the online textbook and through email. And most of our communications, therefore, can be posted at the online textbook, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Hopefully, all of you have registered for your textbook. I want to point something out as well that I don't know if all of you realize that I think I sent it to you in an email. If you cannot make payment now, you can register and gain what's called temporary courtesy access. And you actually can get access to your textbook for a 2-week period until you have to make payment. So there's no reason why you can't get started on the class right away. They do allow that 2-week courtesy time period. So you can just register and get started today, no matter what, even if you can't make payment at this time. I will record lectures as often as possible. I'm trying to work out some technology problems with recording the mass lecture on campus of this same course. And I'd like to have the chance to record some of those lectures and post them to you directly. Now, if I can't do that, I will simply do this type of recording once a week and cover the material that I typically would cover in a lecture at that time. So I will do my best, everyone, to post Zoom lectures and to record lectures from the main class that's being taught on campus every Tuesday, Thursday at 9:30 to 10:45. You're also welcome to come to that class anytime if you would like a face-to-face class. You can just come in. You don't have to let me know. You can come and go as you please. So everyone, please check your ebook and your MyHusky email every day. Check it on a regular basis. I will communicate with you through them. And everyone, it's really important that you do so because I'll provide study tips, reminders, regular updates on the course, requirements, bonus opportunities, any changes that might need to be made in the class schedule. All of that will be posted on the messages on your ebook and or through your Bloomsburg University email. All right, the ebook. Everyone, it is a required course text. You can't take this class online without purchasing the text. There's just no way to do the work unless you actually purchase the text. Quizzes and chapter assignments can only be submitted online through the textbook webpage, and your readings are available online. So although I will provide lectures and add to the material in your textbook, that material from my lectures that is not covered in your textbook will be on your exam. So the lectures are very important and the slides I provide are essential. Your textbook is called Cultural Anthropology, Appreciating Cultural Diversity, and it is written by Conrad Kotak. I have used him as a textbook writer for many years now. I think he's the best one out there. I mean, I'm biased, but in many ways, it's also because I think he matches more my theoretical orientation. So I'm very comfortable using Kotak, and I think you really enjoy his style and his approach. All right, so for this week, everyone, please read chapters 1 and 2. I've posted those as reading assignments, and I've also posted them as smart book assignments. I'm sorry, on your original syllabus, I called that Learn Smart. They actually changed it with this new edition so that what you'll actually be doing are smart book assignments. These assignments, the smart book assignments, are basically chapter reviews for each chapter. They are all or nothing, meaning you'll get 100% if you complete them. There's no grading involved. You just simply have to complete the assignment. And basically what happens in the assignment is they'll ask you questions and continue to ask questions until you know the material. So you do have to complete them at 100%. You can stop and start again, but you do have to complete them in order to get the full 10% all or nothing extra credit added to your course grade. And if you think about it, 10% of your course grade at 100% means a significant improvement in your course grade. So that if your exams are coming in at a B and you do all of your smart book assignments, then you would get at least a B plus, a half a letter grade improvement. So please keep in mind that this is a great chance for you to improve your grade, and so that your grade doesn't rely exclusively on quizzes and exams. So 10% at 100%. Please don't miss this opportunity to improve your grade, but also to learn the material. The smart book assignments are meant to help you study and to prepare you for the exams. So this is what your online textbook looks like. what you'll see is the different assignments will be listed with the due dates. And if you take a look over here, you just press the arrow and then that will take you to the assignment. So the book here means it's a reading assignment. Smart book means it's the required assignment where basically your chapter gets reviewed and it helps you to study and prepare for the material to get ready for the exam. Exams and quizzes will be posted separately and they will have a different designation and you'll be able to see that. On your page, you can also see where it says Faith Warner, your instructor. And if you drop that down, you will find messages and other links in order to communicate with me. Also, your syllabus is listed here. I posted your syllabus last week. And any recorded lectures that I do through your ebook, I might also post there as well. So please explore your ebook. It'll take a little bit of time to familiarize yourself with it. I think it's really easy to use, but it does take an hour or two to get used to the format and to get accustomed to using the online ebook. All right, everyone. I'd like you to take a close look at your syllabus and follow the course schedule. Now, I do reserve the right to change the schedule and the requirements only if I have to. And that's if, we have a technology problem or, some serious matter interferes with the online course. Will do everything possible not to change exam and quiz due dates. I think that they need to be fixed in stone. And everyone, I want to point out that, for example, your first quiz will be due on 9/17, that's September 17th, and you'll have a 4-day window to complete the quiz. I try to give a 4 or even 5-day window to do quizzes and exams so that you can prepare and you have the ability to balance your schedule with these assignments and work them in your other activities. So I'll give you the biggest window I possibly can in terms of when I open the assignment and when it's due, so that you can access and take the quizzes and exams anytime in that time period. And what I'd like to do is span a weekend and then take it into Tuesday so that you can work on this class over the weekend. And for those of you who would rather take the exam on a Sunday or a Monday or even into Tuesday, you can do so. I give you these large windows of opportunity to provide as much flexibility as I can. Now, all exams or quizzes are due by the due date listed, and you would have to have a university excuse or talk to me, communicate with me, reach out for me and let me know why you are late, and we can sit down and work out a way for you to make up that work. So everyone, the course readings and schedule, please do them ahead of time. Please keep up with them. The more you do the readings, the more you will enhance your understanding of the material, the more you'll prepare for bonus questions, which I'll be explaining in just a few minutes. And it also will help you take better notes and ultimately receive higher grades. So please don't cut yourself short on reading the chapters. Take your time, read them like you would read a novel. But then take note of vocabulary. This class will heavily emphasize vocabulary, terminology. I'll do a lot of definitions on the exams and quizzes. So I strongly urge you to take all the vocabulary in each chapter. There's a glossary at the end of each chapter, and make flashcards and study them until you know every term from every chapter. So as I mentioned, in terms of your course requirements, 10% of your grade will involve the online chapter reviews, where you will do that smart book assignment for each chapter. 20% of your grade will be online quizzes. The 2 online quizzes are meant to help you prepare for the exams. They're worth 10% each, so you're not risking a big part of your grade, and it will allow you to assess whether or not you're ready for the exam. I will re-ask most of the questions from the quiz on the exam. The exam will be longer than the quiz. It'll include more questions, but I promise I will ask the online quiz questions again on the exam. So you need to go back, check out what you missed, and review again so that you're ready for the exam. And you can answer every question at 100%, and that should really help you prepare for each exam. So the quizzes are meant to help you assess your knowledge, assess your readiness for the exams, and to study to improve your score when you actually are asked those questions again on the exam. The quizzes cover material in your online textbook exclusively. I will not be asking additional outside questions from my lectures on the quizzes, but questions will show up on your exam from the lectures that I will be providing. I will be providing additional material through the lectures, and that material will be tested equally to the textbook online material that you are covering. And what you'll find is most of what I cover is also found in your textbook, but I will be adding to your textbook and adding more material, more information, more examples in order to provide a personal, real professor experience in this class. Your exams. You will have a midterm exam and it will cover all the chapters up until that exam and the material from the first quiz. Now, you will also have a final exam, which is cumulative, and it is 40% of your course grade. When I say cumulative, it means it covers all the material of the semester. However, I'd rather not have a cumulative exam, but it is required for one of these general education introductory courses. So what I do to satisfy the requirements, but also my inclination not to go back and test earlier material, just focus on the new material, what I've worked out is that I will retest your midterm exam. That way I'm testing the material for the first half of the class, but I'm actually doing it through a retest. So I want you to go back, look at your midterm exam, and make sure you can answer all the questions again when you take your final exam. I will retest all of those questions and then ask you new questions on the material that was covered since the midterm exam. So no new questions, no changing the wording of the questions. If you actually go back and study all the material from the midterm exam, you can score almost half of your final at 100%. You would know half of the questions walking into the final. Bonus questions. How to find bonus questions. Bonus questions can sometimes show up in my lectures, and at the beginning here, I will point out some bonus questions to get you started in terms of how to find bonus questions, how to think about them, how to locate them, what strategies you can use to figure out if Dr. Warner is going to ask that as a bonus question. But first of all, let me point out that I will ask bonus questions from material in your textbook that I don't cover in the actual lecture. So for example, I'm not going to spend time on the scientific method because I'm hoping that all of you covered the scientific method in middle school and then again in high school, probably multiple times in multiple classes. So I want to stress new material that you have not ever been exposed to or ever learned about, and that anthropology is not usually a class offered in high school. So I'm hoping that you've already learned about the scientific method, and I'm not going to cover it formally in the lecture, but it can be asked as bonus questions. So any material that doesn't get asked, that doesn't get covered in the math lecture, but is in your textbook, is a good place for me to go for bonus questions. So when I finish lecturing on a chapter, you need to go back and check, did Dr. Warner cover this in her lecture? Was it in her slides, in her lecture? And if it wasn't, then there's a pretty good chance I might choose that as a bonus question. The bonus questions can count up to 10% of your grade on each exam. So it could be an entire letter grade that you could get boosted if you really take your time and make sure you learn the material in great depth that's in your textbook that's not covered in my lectures. So everyone, the course is designed to introduce you to a subdiscipline or a subfield in a larger discipline called general anthropology. So I will be introducing you to cultural anthropology. It's one of 4 subdisciplines in general anthropology. And when you hear general anthropology, it means the discipline as a whole, an area of study at the university where you can actually get a degree. So Our discipline of general anthropology breaks down into 4 subdisciplines: cultural anthropology, biological anthropology, linguistic anthropology, and archaeological anthropology. We will start with an introduction to general anthropology, and I'll briefly cover all 4 subdisciplines, but then we're going to focus exclusively on the subdiscipline of general anthropology. Chapter 1 introduces you to all 4 subdisciplines, but then after that, we will occasionally make reference to the other disciplines when it relates to our topic, but we'll focus almost exclusively on cultural anthropology. Some of the course goals for this class is for you to be able to answer the questions of what do all humans have in common, what is universal to the human species in terms of both culture and biology, but our focus will be on culture. And then what is the full range of variation in the human species? The big focus is on variation and diversity, but we also want to figure out what is universal to all humans. What makes us all human everywhere, all places, and all times? So what we want to do is identify human universals like language and politics and family and marriage and religion. All the chapters in your textbook after the introductory chapters are all universals. And then within each universal, for example, marriage, we'll look at different forms of marriage. Language, we'll look at different aspects of human language, and that these are all universally found in all human cultures, no exception. And then we want to look at the range of variation. How many different types of languages are out there? How many different ways have humans come up with to form a family and practice marriage and religion, and all the other universals we'll cover, including politics and economics and subsistence, that is the way that people get food and resources necessary for survival. So we'll cover each one of these universals, and then we'll look at variations within so you can get an idea of how much variation, what is the range of diversity out there in the human species as a whole. And of course, we can't cover all the variations, but I'll do my best to cover as much as I possibly can without overwhelming us. Some other course goals that I've set is for you to develop skills that will allow you to better understand how you learned your own culture. Another way of saying it with a little bit of jargon is to better understand the construction of your cultural self. How did you learn your culture? How did you acquire your culture? So we'll look at processes of what are called enculturation. That is the process by which people acquire or learn their culture. And everyone, just to get started now, when I say culture, I mean everything that is learned. I mean the nurture side of the so-called nature-nurture debate. Everything that is learned, everything that is acquired. Imagine you're born with a blank slate, and then through living your life and immersing yourself and being a member of your culture, you acquire your culture through the process of learning. So culture is learned. It's not biological. It's not genetic. You're not born with culture. It's entirely acquired. Just to get you thinking about this, if I picked up any of you as a baby and gave you to a family in France, and you were raised by that family, you didn't know anything about your American family, what would you be? Culturally, you would be entirely French. You would have none of the customs or traditions or language or religion or beliefs or attitudes or values of the people that you were born to, because culture is learned, it is acquired. It is not biological. You can't inherit it from your parents. So culture is nurture, it is learned, it is not biological, just to get us started. So how did you learn your culture? What are the processes by which you acquire your culture? And how does your culture affect your behavior? How does it determine and influence the way that you behave? Those are some of the big questions in anthropology as a discipline as a whole. And we'll work on those questions throughout this semester. So let's go ahead and get started with your first lecture, What is Anthropology? And I will be going back and forth between my material and the textbook material, integrating them as much as possible. Whenever you see the textbook icon, the cover of your textbook, you should focus very carefully on that material, because it means I'm making direct reference to your textbook. So please keep an eye out for the textbook icon. If you see it, and especially if you see a page number, make sure you note it and you go back and you read that section very closely. I'm going to coach you a bit in these first lectures on being a good note taker and how to pay attention to material that might be a bonus material, material that's definitely on the exam, and material that is both in my lecture and in the textbook. So therefore will be on the exam, absolutely, probably in several different ways. So I will coach you on how to follow my lectures, how to take good notes, especially these first weeks. After that, once you become more accustomed to my lecture style and how to take good notes and how to study for my exams, then I won't be reminding you so much about this is important. Everyone note this is in your textbook. It's going to be on the exam. If I say this is important, put a star by this. This is on the exam. Take note because it will be on the exam. I'm very careful about making sure that if I say something is on the exam, it will be there. If I point out a bonus question, I might say this could be a possible bonus question, which means take note. Possible means likely. Probable, it may not be, but there's a very good chance I'll include that as one of your bonus questions. So let's go ahead and get started. What is anthropology? I'm going to exit this introductory lecture and then start chapter 1, your first lecture, and I'll be sending that in a separate attachment. So thank you, everyone. Welcome to Principles of Cultural Anthropology Online. I'm thrilled to be teaching this class, and I look forward to meeting all of you either in my office or on Zoom or through email. Please don't hesitate to reach out for me, and I will make myself as available as often as possible. I'm also going to have an assistant for this class, and I will provide some contact information for her, and she will be able to hold a Zoom hour every week and help you if you need notes or tutoring or if you have any questions. So fortunately, we also have a very talented anthropology student who is a senior. She's graduating in December, and she's one of our superstar anthropology students. And I'm very thrilled to have her assisting in this class. And her name is Julia. And I'll be giving contact information for her next week. So between the two of us, you have lots of opportunities to reach out and get help or assistance at any time throughout the semester. All right, everyone, thank you. And please be looking for my next class, and welcome to Anthropology.